Good day, Brittle Planet listeners. This is Eric Peterson in Salt Lake City today. And today is my honor to be joined by Ty Tabor of King's X. How are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
Good. Where are you joining us? Where are you joining us from today?
I'm at Alien Bean Studio here in Kansas City. That's my studio, and just practicing some King's X music at the moment.
Nice, nice. How are things in Kansas City?
Today it's wonderful, but we've had a pretty brutal winter this year. We've had so many mega snows, including one a few days ago, and temperatures dropping down to low teens. And in March, you're about ready to be done with that. So,
luckily, do you guys get a lot of the ice storms?
Yeah, that's the problem. Is it's snow and ice a lot of times because it's so cold. But luckily, right after this last record-breaking snow that just we had an Arctic blast come through. As soon as it left, things warmed up immediately to where now it's great weather. It's a little bit cloudy today, but the temperature is great, and all the snow is pretty much gone now. So it's great.
Nice. So your new album Shades is out now, and how has the fan reception been to the album?
Way better than I ever expected. I was not expecting the kind of reaction I've been getting. Matter of fact, I was worried about releasing the album at all. And I came this close to canning it and putting out a different group of songs as the album. I had a talk with Joe at Rat Pack about it.
Yeah.
Because I was coming off of such a period of absolute utter mental and physical exhaustion from months of taking care of my dad until he passed away. And then right after he passed away, I did some more traveling back and forth between Mississippi until King's X finally did a show. Mm-hmm. And then COVID hit and had all this time off. So that was when I started recording this record. And so I was coming from all this emotional time period. And so I wrote a bunch of stuff, recorded a bunch of stuff. And then I felt like I have no idea if this is any good or not. And I can't even judge because I was so emotionally too close to a lot of it and all that stuff. So I began to get nervous about it, like a diary, and maybe this is private. Maybe I should just keep this and do something else. So I was questioning it the whole time, thinking this may be a big mistake to put this record out. And I honestly was afraid, feeling that way when I put it out. And I can honestly say that I've gotten better response from it than anything that I can remember ever putting out ever, as far as how much positive response has come, from every direction. And it certainly was not anything I was expecting.
So do you think as an artist, you listen to it and it becomes your baby, and so you nitpick it a little too much, or is it just a lack of insecurity for it?
I think it's more a matter of you're too close to it to see the picture. If you're painting a massive mural, you're spending all your times on the little details and you don't see the picture. Yeah. And when I make an album that is that intensely personal, that's how it feels. And when I got done and put it all down, I didn't know what the picture was because I hadn't been looking at the picture. I'd been looking at the details. And that's kind of more of how it hit me. Like, I don't even know if this is good. I'm too close to it. I just don't know. I don't have any feelings on this. All I know is this is just what came out. Yeah. And so anytime you feel that way about something, that doesn't inspire confidence.
No. Yeah. I mean, I do the same thing because I'm, do a lot of photography, and sometimes you look at a photo and you just sit there and you touch it up and you try to do touch-ups. And then next thing you know, you've been staring at it for 4 hours and you go, is this really even good? And then you show it to somebody else and they tell you it's amazing. And then you go, oh, okay.
Yeah. Or they look at it and go, I don't like that, so blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then you realize, oh, you're right. That is horrible. And you couldn't see it, I get, that's the most invaluable type stuff I get from my lady. She will tell me what she thinks. And I need that because I'm too close.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first single was Sister Genocide. What made you choose that to be the first single?
Joe from Rat Pack chose that, and
Oh, did he?
I'd stayed out of it because of how I felt about the album. I really didn't feel I knew that any song really represented the album. I didn't know what people would want to hear first. I just was completely insecure about the whole album.
Yeah.
So Joe did it. He chose both of the singles, and thank goodness, because I didn't really want to be involved.
Yeah. Yeah. So the best day in a while I've read is about your father and your loss of your father. I lost my father a couple years ago, and so that song had some special meaning to me too. Um, it's amazing how music can affect so many people in the same way just by hearing lyrically the song, and it really touched me, with the loss of my father too.
I'm sorry about your loss.
Yeah. So when you wrote the song, was it in that process when you were losing your father, or was it after?
It was after.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It was just me remembering
Okay.
some good things from that time,
Okay.
trying to put the good stuff down
Yeah.
and with the bad. It's
Yeah.
hard. It was both, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, it just seems like I don't look back, and I just take everything that I want to remember, and that's what I remember. And that makes it all good for me, and so.
And it's therapeutic to write a song about something that you don't know what to say. It
Exactly.
helps.
Exactly. But is there any other songs on the album that you particularly go, yeah, that's a song that I really, really enjoy?
Um, I've been asked that a bunch, and I think I probably would answer it differently on different days. But
Would it? Okay.
in general, I just think of the whole thing as like a movie, as one thing, and that
Yeah.
each song is chapters, and that it tells a full thing. And so I think of it as the overall picture more than I do the individual songs.
Do you ever like worry that, I mean, you've been successful. You guys, King's X has been around forever. You've been around forever. Do you ever worry that people are that want another King's X album from you, when a solo album?
Well, I mean, I'm not King's X,
I know, but you're associated with it.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as King's X goes, we do have a killer album that is going to come out this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite thing we've recorded since we were young. We went to California twice, lived out there for a while, and worked hard on this one. And I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Nice, nice. And then, so I was going to ask you, based on this album, who would you consider musically help you influence throughout your youth to get to where you are today?
Well, I mean, Beatles are a foundational thing that
Yeah.
I grow off of. It all comes from the Beatles for me. I mean, the Beatles are why I wanted to make music professionally. I just wanted to play music all my life, and that be what I do, just because of the Beatles. I mean, plain and simple. When I was a child, never questioned it. Always believed I could somehow make it happen, and just lived that dream until it was real.
And then, as far as instrument wise, as far as guitar, I had heard or read somewhere that you are very influenced by Ace Frehley. Is that correct?
Oh, he's one of them. Yeah, I love Ace, and I point to the solo in "Shock Me" as one of the greatest rock solos of all time.
Yeah.
First time I heard that, I was like, felt like I needed to high five somebody because it was awesome. Just love that tone and the style. He's one of the most melodic solo craftsmen, around from our time, I think. And
Yeah.
so I love him. I always have. And for me, I couldn't wait for whatever the solo in the song was to see what Ace was going to do when New Kiss music came up when I was growing up. He was the main reason I was listening. I couldn't wait to see what he would do.
Yeah, I for me, it's the same thing. You kind of hear the song, and Gene and Paul are great in the song, but you get to a point where you go, okay, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Is he what, and so it's that anticipation, and it gets you going, and then you hear it and you're just like shaking your head going, screaming.
Yeah, it's perfect every time. It's always the right thing. It's always the right solo.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so
And
many
then,
identifiable. Anybody who has that many identifiable solos where you just hear two notes, that's ace.
yeah.
They're doing something right.
The other funny thing that I wanted to mention, and I was hoping you can elaborate on a little bit, is I was reading an interview with you, and they talked about Peter Frampton and Frampton Comes Alive, and that was a very influential album for you. And you actually had him sign that album for you.
Actually, a friend of mine did it for me as a gift.
Oh, okay.
I'd been friends with Peter for years. I'd met him for the first time at the Ritz in New York City when he came to one of our shows a long, long time ago. And I've been lucky enough to see him several times since then, hang out with him a few times. So I casually have known Peter for a long time. But my friend Chris Norch, he knows how big of a fan I am of Peter. So he was hanging with Peter one day, and he got Peter to sign Frampton's Come Alive for me. And like I said in the other interview you heard, it's my favorite thing that I own in my house. It's on the wall. It's Frampton's Comes Alive. And it just says, "Hi, Ty, big fan of yours too, Peter Frampton." I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that.
No. I was going to ask you too. We just lost Johnny Z not too long ago, and I know that he had a lot to do with your success and King's X success. What did he mean to you guys personally, and do you have any good stories about him?
I have a lot of stories that I couldn't tell because they're funny as could be, but people would maybe not appreciate the hilarity as much as we do being in the middle of it all. But I can say that without Johnny, there's no King's X.
Yeah.
And I have to say without Johnny and Marcia,
Yeah.
it was Marcia that convinced Johnny to take us. It was Marcia that saved us. It was all about Marcia. Marcia loved our band and wanted Johnny to take the chance on us, and he did it because of how she felt. Now, once he signed on, then he, became a fan and totally 100% into it and everything. And we had some great times with both of them. But I like I say in any interview I talk about Johnny, I think of Johnny and Marcia as the same person, they're an entity together. And they both, made decisions together, ran everything together. It was about both of them. And Marcia was more of a key than people realize, especially in the King's X world. She's responsible for us getting signed.
Yeah.
So we love Johnny and Marcia both. Had so many good times at Megaforce with all of those great people that were there. And nothing but positive, fun, awesome memories of them, and we'll definitely miss them.
Yeah. Speaking of, so the new King's X album is in the works then?
It's not in the works, it's finished.
Oh, it's finished. Done. Okay.
It's turned in, and there will be a record company announcement soon about everything.
Nice. I was going to ask you, when was the last time you played live?
It was on a cruise, I guess Monsters of Rock cruise back in February of 2020, right before everything shut down.
Oh, okay. All right. So is there what getting back into the groove, what do you miss most about playing live?
I miss what I like most about live is when me, Doug, and Jerry are connecting and we kind of just get lost in it. And we're just alone, even though we're in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
We reach those moments every once in a while, and I live for those moments. Those are the best parts of doing what we do, is when we get zoned in together live, like one entity. And we do that a lot, or we used to. It'll be fun to see how long it takes us to get it back together after this much time off. But that's what I love, that though, those moments on stage where we're connecting, especially on jams, because we do something that we like to call walking the plank. When we go into jam sessions, those jam sessions are open to go anywhere. And we try not to ever do the same thing any night. It's never exactly the same. Maybe the way we end the jam is the same, or maybe the starting part of the jam is the same, just to kind of get us into it. But there's always this big gray area of creation of what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And I'll sometimes bring it up, or Doug will bring it down, or, you know, I mean, it can go anywhere, and we just all go with it. And we don't know sometimes how we're getting out of it. That's why we call it walking the plank. You're
Ah,
just you're just out there, and at any moment could fall off and it could be catastrophe. But right before you jump is that moment of awareness, and that's where we try to stay, is right where it's about to fall off. And I
okay.
look forward to that every time that happens, which is every night.
Oh, so this is not something that just randomly happens, a show here or there. It happens all the time.
Well, we leave room in the show in several places on several songs for things to jam wherever you might feel to go.
Oh, okay. All right. That, I mean, that is a credit to not only you guys as musicians, but as a group, you know, saying that we know where each other wants to go, and we know who's going to take the lead. We know how far they're going to go, and all that. I mean, it's just it really says a lot about you guys as a group.
I don't think it's that we actually know that. It's that we trust
Yeah.
that whoever goes will be able to lock in. And we just trust each other, you know.
You know that
We don't know where it's going. That's the scary part. And where we put ourselves intentionally to where sometimes we don't know where it's going is where you want to get to.
yeah.
Then you can truly improv. You can truly create on the spot something that'll never be done again on any other show ever again.
Yeah.
And those are the special things I look for and try to go for, the true improv, where we really don't know what anybody's going to do, but we have trust.
Nice.
You know?
And as far as like touring, is there, I mean, you guys have toured with everybody, you know, you've headlined and you guys have supported other acts. Is there been any tours that you guys just go, that you personally go think back on and think that was so much fun?
Almost all of them. There's only
Okay.
there are only 2 tours in my life, and I'm not going to name the bands.
No, I don't. Yeah.
There are only 2 tours in my whole life with King's X that I felt were just horrible tours, and I couldn't wait to get off of. Pretty much every other tour we've done, which is a sea of tours, has been something I've enjoyed one way or another. It's always a challenge because you're in front of people who aren't the normal people who would come see you. And that's the opportunity you have. That's the thing, to get to play in front of people who are sitting there waiting for the band they want to see. And you have a chance to force them to hear you for a second. And you might gain 1 or 2 new fans out of the whole crowd, you know. And that's David Lee Roth taught us that, you know, just embrace that opening thing and pick off 1 or 2 new people every night, and you'll just keep going and it'll keep growing. And he was right about that.
Yeah, he is. And I mean, you can only imagine that coming from David when they open for people that sometimes they stole the show.
Exactly. And well, I guess that's for others to say. I can say that we've had opening act positions that worked out real well for us that we were thankful for.
Yeah, yeah. So do you guys have any, do you have any plans to play this new album live at all?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
Are you talking about Shades?
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Oh,
sorry, I don't mean to bounce back and forth.
That's okay. That's okay. As far as the solo album, I was talking to my lady about that last night, and I really probably should try to put something together to promote that and play it at some point. But right now, King's X is about to get back into full force busy, and all of my efforts are going to be going into that from May forward. So it'll be tough to do something yet on the new solo album, but I definitely would like to at some point. We'll see.
I was going to ask you, I've talked to when I've talked to people lately, we've talked about the since you guys have been or you personally have been in the music business for so long, you've seen how it's evolved and sometimes devolved, for good or for bad. Are there any things that you considered a benefit to today's music scene than the past music scene?
Well, I think the digital recording in general has made things a lot quicker and easier for bands. I know our first several albums were all done on tape.
Yeah.
So there was no grabbing this chunk and sticking it over here and fixing this or auto-tuning this. None of that existed. We were putting things down, and what you hear is what we did. period. And nowadays, it's just a lot easier to get things down because of the digital world. It doesn't necessarily sound better, but it's easier to record. That's the biggest difference, because in the past we had to do everything basically live, to tape, and that would be the deal.
What about like the connection with fans? I mean, I've talked to a lot of people and they feel like they have a much better connection with their fans nowadays through social media than they did ever before.
I think that's true for everybody. Absolutely.
And do you like that connection? Do you like the personal connection?
I do. I mean, I like, it gives you a better sense of what they think.
Yeah.
You're directly plugged in.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a good thing. You don't want it to influence you too much, though, because when you make music, you don't make it for other people. You try to make yourself happy, and then you hope they will like it. So I try to not also be too caught up in it or influenced by it or worry too much about what people think. But overall, in general, I pay attention. Like my question or my answer about how people are reacting to my album, that's a big generalized thing, and it's been positive, and I can see the whole generalization over all these different posts and different places and people. But I'm not like everybody else I know out there that is promoting themselves. I'm not attached to it with an umbilical cord like a whole lot of other people. I will pay attention to it and use it to get info out, but I'm not there all day, every day, tweeting and everything like everybody else. It's just, I got too much in life to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to make sure that people have the ability to get a physical copy of your new album, Shades. Where can they go to get that?
I think you can order it. I'm not sure if physical copies are at Amazon. I think they are. I think like Amazon, you can order CDs and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you don't find it in the normal places, all you have to do is go to tietabor.com, and there's a link to Rat Pack Records.
Nice.
Or you can just go straight to ratpackrecords.com, and there are links there for all kinds of different packages, from vinyl, even cassettes.
Really, cassettes?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. So vinyl, cassette. The only thing we're really missing is a 8-track, huh?
That is it. And I mentioned that in another interview, so I'm hoping we can get an 8-track in there at some point. That'd be great.
I think first thing we got to do is find an 8-track player. I haven't seen one of those forever.
I have friends that have kept theirs because they know what a relic it is.
Yeah.
So I do know people with working 8-track players, believe it or not. And I had one until just maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah. They were fun. They were definitely could be a challenge at times.
Yeah. It was the worst music delivery system ever. And at the same time, you got some kind of, fondness for it because of things we bought on 8-track.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we can all talk about our youth and remember those special 8-track moments we had.
No doubt.
Well, Ty, I appreciate your time, and everybody go pick up a copy of Shades. Don't just stream it. Don't just do all that crap. Don't go to YouTube and go to YouTube and watch it and then realize how great it is, and then go buy a physical copy of it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So
that's the only way we actually make anything is from the actual purchases.
Exactly. I know that. And that's why I always try to promote that. And when the new King X comes out, you guys, everybody go purchase that, and then make sure to see you guys on tour, because I'm sure you're going to tour.
Yeah, we're definitely touring.
Good. Well, Ty, it's been a great pleasure to talk to you, and I appreciate your time, and we will chat with you soon.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day.